Welcome to Brainstorm MTG, I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Doublespeed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Jared on Painter versus Adam on a Wrenn 6 Delver build, a deck that's been putting up very consistent results overall. It's been a significant portion of the metagame since Wrenn 6 has kind of found its way into the field. Delver and control strategies, both enjoying the 2-mana Planeswalker. Jared with Painter definitely has the more unfamiliar deck. One of the only downsides really of the Delver strategies is just kind of how omnipresent they are. People do need to prepare for them. They have to have a valid strategy. It's something people will consider in their sideboards. Whereas Painter Servant, not exactly the type of deck that people are intentionally hating out. Luckily for Adam, there is a lot of overlap in between sideboard cards he may be playing and things that are useful versus this. And we lead out with Goblin Welder, a card that used to be an absolute menace in Vintage, in an era where there was just like no creature removal. And we see exactly why it's not as played in Legacy, is most decks have enough creature removal to handle the little Goblin. Fatal Push easily getting rid of him. Now leaving Painter Servant in play. And Wrenn 6 coming down. Returning a land. Wrenn 6 also a card that can make short work of Goblin Welder. But the way this is sequenced so far, I mean, this Painter Servant is going to be unchecked. Wrenn 6 takes a hit from the Scarecrow, losing 1 loyalty. And now a Grindstone. And 1 more mana. This would have been over potentially on the spot. Grindstone cast requires 3 to activate, so Jared's going to be able to activate during Adam's upkeep potentially. Maybe just on his turn if he ends up using mana on his turn, and he is actually using mana on his turn here. Not a whole lot of reason to not just go for the activation. As long as this Painter Servant can stick around. Adam digs and finds no answer and actually scoops it up. So Jared taking that one down. With Wrenn 6 Delver, I gotta say, I probably would have made him play it out. One of the things about Painter is you're never really 100% sure exactly what might be going on. I've got some crazy stories about playing against Painter. Actually, in Legacy, I'll share one of those. It was playing in the Eternal Weekend a few years back now. It's the only one that I actually attended. I ended up, I think, in the top 16. I won't talk about my top 8 match, or my match that I thought I was going to be able to draw into the top 8. It was X and 1 at the end of Swiss. But for the path there, I actually played against a Painter Grindstone deck with Sneak and Show. And game 1, he's got it locked up. He has Ensnaring Bridge out, Painter, Grindstone. He's got Sensei's Divining Top. It was legal at the time. And he is just digging to try and find Tormod script because I'm on Sneak and Show. And you can't really grind out a deck with Emrakul because it just shuffles back in. So he's just digging and digging, trying to find a Tormods. I jokingly say to him, you can actually use Sensei's Top, stack your cards, and then Grindstone away the bad cards. And I was saying it as a joke. He understood that it was a joke because he had Painter Servant out, and that would actually kill him. But it planted a little seed because that actually is a good line when you don't have Painter Servant. So game number 1, he eventually finds the Tormods and beats me. Game 2, I end up winning in just a crazy game with Rushing River and all sorts of responses to things that were incredibly complicated stack. He thought he had the win, and instead I ended up getting rid of the Painter Servant and went to my turn and ended up winning the game. And then game 3, we're right back to how it was game 1. He is just way out ahead, has all the things he needs. He's digging with Sensei's Divining Top, looking for the Tormod so he can just finally drive a stake into my heart and call it a day. And during my end step, he looks and then activates Grindstone and grinds himself. And he puts 2 cards in the graveyard and then looks at me and realizes what he's done. And I'm like, oh no, those are the same color. Those fetch lands they're both blue. So that was just an incredible story. And then I came back to my local card store at the time. It was Scholars Games, back when it was in Bridgewater, Mass. And I told that to a player during testing. He was playing Painter Grindstone. I was like, oh, I just played against this at the championship, and explained the story to him. And he just like, that's incredible. Nobody would ever do that. And then literally in our match, he accidentally killed himself in the same exact way. So there can be something said for planting seeds. Little Jedi mind tricks sometimes can be the difference between winning and losing. And they certainly make for a fun story. So Arkham's Astrolabe now. Adam, ready for game number 2, leads out, looking to smooth his mana. And is that a Smuggler's Copter for Jared? I think it is. I think we've got Ancient Tomb into Smuggler's Copter. That guy's going to potentially do a lot of looting. Ponder for Adam as well. Seeing some high value cards, though they're kind of better later in the game. We've got a volcanic island coming down. Goblin Engineer. And that actually merits a Force of Will pitching Jace the Mind Sculptor. The new Modern Horizons card does a ton of work in Painter Grindstone decks. City of Traders now into Grindstone. A mana floating of no use. Not really worth it to... Oh, Smuggler's Copter is not a creature. Okay, so it's a discard. There we go. So he shatters the Grindstone and then makes Jared discard a card. Unable to take out the Smuggler's Copter. Jace the Mind Sculptor gets Pyroblasted. A card that Painter Servant runs a bunch of main deck. You're able to Pyroblast, of course, all of the blue cards, and then make all the cards blue with Painter Servant. One of the things to consider when playing Painter Servant is whether or not you actually want to name blue. Sometimes it's not the right play, because it can turn your opponent's Force of Wills and Force of Negations into even better cards, as they'll be able to pitch excess lands once those become blue. And it looks like Snapcaster, Kolgan's Command, absolutely ruining Jared's day now, taking out a Goblin Welder and a Smuggler's Copter thanks to Snapcaster Mage. Just so much value. Getting a 2/1 body and 2 creature removal spells, all out of 1 card. Just remarkable value. And now Ensnaring Bridge with just 1 card in hand. And I don't know how much Adam's going to care about this. He doesn't actually have to attack to win. He can win with Jace the Mind Sculptor. He can win with Renin 6 damage potentially. Kolgan's Command can go face. I mean, he can cobble together 14 points of direct damage if needed. Or he can actually mill out Jared. It's a question of, will he be able to hold on and make sure that Jared doesn't assemble his combo before he actually closes this out? And I mean, I guess to that degree, this Ensnaring Bridge does make this an interesting game. For a very short amount of time, as it is actually destroyed. I think that's the modal card. It's got like 4 modes on it, I think. Let me know in the comments what that one is. We've got a Painter's Servant, and now flashing it back to destroy another artifact. Snapcaster's just continuing to close in here. Looks like we're going to be going to game number 3. Yeah, no, it's time for game 3. Adam holding on there. So Jared with a fairly quick game number 1. Adam dragging things out, creating inevitability, beating down with Snapcaster mages, and getting incredible value off of them. Kolgan's Command being cast twice in the same game. Backbreaking card. At least Painter's Servant has enough toughness to not create a automatic 2-for-1 against the combo. That would be even worse if you could actually blow up the Painter's Servant and the Grindstone with the same Kolgan's Command. Now that mat did come out pretty decent, if I say so myself. I've really been having fun making these playmats for the ELD Opens. That mat given away to the champion. And we've got a turn 1 Thopter, or senior moment, Smuggler's Copter. Polluted Delta for Adam, and he's going to Thoughtseize. Sorceress, Spyglass, Imperial Recruiter, and the Painter's Servant. No matter what he takes, he's going to be able to crew. And actually goes for the Imperial Recruiter, interestingly. I would have imagined that the Scarecrow would have been the scarier of the two. Maybe he's setting up for a devastating play here, but I don't know. The 1/1 body of Imperial Recruiter not hugely important. I may be undervaluing that. We'll see how this plays out. Bayou, Fatal Push, takes down that Painter's Servant. And just a basic land and saying go. Does he have any way to crew this guy? Goblin Crater Maker, yet another body to potentially keep looting here. Gonna Brainstorm in response. And yeah, that hand's not able to stop it, so Jared pushing forward damage, drawing cards. Sorcerer's Spyglass. I mean, I guess he's going to be naming Scalding Tarn. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that is the route that he went. Renin 6 and Jace the Mind Sculptor. Kind of more dangerous cards there, but Thoughtseize clears out Karn the Great Creator. That would have been a very welcome card to stick. He did have the mana for it. He got one card in hand. Will he be looting? Oh, Smuggler's Copter activated. And he gets blown up by that. Maybe like Return to Nature or something. I don't know. Like I said, let me know in the comments what that card is. I believe it's 1 in the green, and it's like modal. Part of it's destroy an artifact. Might also like return something from your graveyard. It gives you options. Snapcaster being flashed in response to attacks with Goblin Crater Maker. They trade. Imperial Recruiter being cast and Brainstorm from the graveyard. Finding Kolgan's Command. And this card just brutal. I mean, it's able to do just so much damage. Here, he'll be able to probably make Jared discard a card and get rid of this Goblin Welder. Wasteland hitting Ancient Tomb. Ponder after the fact. All right. A little, slightly loose there. Probably no reason to Wasteland first. Ponder could have possibly changed his mind if he saw a certain combination of cards. Generally, you want to have as much information as possible, but it is very difficult to play flawlessly when you're just so far ahead. At this point, another 2-for-1. Pyroblast takes out the Snapcaster Mage, but it's really not much of a consideration at this point. Or is it? Well, it looks like his hand's actually kind of underwhelming. Arkham's Astrolabe drawing a card. Well, he certainly has way more mana than Jared, but all he's got left is the Abrupt Decay. That will keep him in the game, for sure. Another Smuggler's Copter. Baleful Strix. Arkham's Astrolabe. Into Jace the Mind Sculptor. What a sequence of cards there. Starting out with the Astrolabe. Draw, into Jace. And now he's got a Abrupt Decay ready to be fired off. He can either hit the Smuggler's Copter or this Painter's Servant. And he's going to take out the Painter's Servant. Baleful Strix ready to die for the cause. If Jared is able to get the Smuggler's Copter activated again. And Renin 6 able to pick up a land. And Jace not being cast. Goblin Engineer. The 1/2 creature way better right now than Goblin Welder. Not close. Even if it doesn't find anything for the graveyard, it would still be significantly better. And it finds Grindstone. Now, Adam is going to need to answer this card. It can essentially win all on its own. You can activate Grindstone and respond by welding it out for a Painter's Servant, assuming his mana base allows for that. Probably one of the more overlooked lines when people pick this deck up casually for the first time is exactly that, welding out the Grindstone after activating. So you activate and then hold priority and then exchange it for the Painter's Servant. Then when the ability resolves, all of the cards everywhere are the color of your choice. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Not the best answer to this Goblin Engineer. Bouncing it, not really great. Adam does need to win. He can't let Jared hang around indefinitely. What are we seeing here? Jared just tried to play a land. Oh, and opted not to. Alright, I'm not sure I understand that. Perhaps he's saving it to use with the looter. I think he... maybe he just played it and then second-guessed thinking about how bad Wasteland would be for him. It would be pretty bad. Oh, and Blue Blast. Just kind of wrecking all of the plans here. You can get back Grindstone. Painter's Servant, a little bit tougher to protect as it can be bounced by Jace the Mind Sculptor. And now another Naturalize effect. City of Traders. We know Ancient Tomb is in hand. Jace begins the fate sealing. And this Smuggler's Copter feeling like it's not doing enough now. Tough to say. Baleful Strix begins the beatings at this point. And Ren 6 getting dangerously close to getting an emblem. Imperial Recruiter. Going to need to get something with a measure of toughness. Yeah, this may be just about it. Throwing a Goblin Welder right into the line of fire of this Ren 6. Trying to slow things down. Brainstorm for Adam. Sees yet another Ren 6, so he can actually ping them both if he really feels obligated to do so. Adam down to 3. Now Jared only has his board to work with, no cards in hand. So Ren 6s actually do switch places. One kills Imperial Recruiter, one kills Goblin Welder. So Adam at 3, a Smuggler's Copter swing. With the shields down there? I guess if he's seeing the cards on the top, I'm assuming the shields were not down. This is a very close game here as this Jace continues to tick up. Down to just 3 life for Adam. That's a single Smuggler's Copter swing away. At this point, I believe Jace the Mind Sculptor going to be the path to victory. He's at 13. As long as this card will not kill Adam, he can leave it there. And then Ultimate Jace, Goblin Engineer comes down. And there's the handshake. So Adam able to hold on at 3 life, 1 Smuggler's Copter swing away. That is how Control likes to do it. Your life is a resource, and he used it there, buying maximum time before completely stabilizing and winning in 3. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.